Basically high Wycombe job, but I was based at Wycombe.
So, 1960s.
Other Muslim BC recipients of the Great War, like Amir Das and Shamamat Khan, have also been deservedly immortalized at the National Arboretum. But today, we are honoring not only those heroes, but the many thousands of less well-known Muslim soldiers whose names adorn memorials in Europe, in the Middle East, and Asia, and whose deeds help to preserve our freedom. And we can think of how they travelled thousands of miles to the mud and the horror of Flanders. We think of their imams leading prayers in the midst of the battle. And as Forgotten Heroes research has shown us, we think of how imams, priests, rabbis learnt each other's burial ceremonies and prayers to make sure that the dead of all faiths were decently laid to rest on the battlefield. Just as we recall the Muslim soldiers from the Great War who were once buried here, and whom we remember when we look at the Himalayan birch trees around us and the memorial stone that bears their name, and those who came after, such as the Muslim soldiers of the 8th Army, holding Ruwaysat Bridge at the Battle of El Alamein, almost exactly 76 years ago. And we think of the more recent contribution of our Muslim armed forces personnel in conflicts within our lifetimes, striving to keep us safe on the plains of Afghanistan, deserts of Iraq, and other places across the world. And this beautiful garden behind me ensures that we will never forget what our Muslim comrades did for us. It's wonderfully serene in its aspect. Its location is also an appropriate one, only a short distance from the UK's very first purpose-built mosque. And in 1915, this place became the first one in Britain where Muslim soldiers could be buried in accordance with their religious rites. The present garden, which I think the community here can be very proud of, is the product of a harmonious partnership between our armed forces, the Shah Jahan Mosque, and both local and central government. And it symbolises a lasting fellowship between all faiths. So as well as being a place of remembrance, a reminder of the qualities that make our nation great, this is, I think, a place of hope, and it's a place of optimism. I'm very happy to be back here, and I'm pleased that so many of you have joined us. Thank you very much.
The Muslim soldiers originally laid to rest here, and whose remains now lie in Brookwood Military Cemetery, not too far away, fought in those wars. They served bravely alongside those of other faiths and beliefs as comrades and friends, just as they do today. In 2006, Lance Corporal Javan Hashmi, a Muslim soldier from Birmingham, was killed in action in Afghanistan, alongside his colleague, Corporal Peter Thorpe. Whilst they may not have shared a religion or a culture, what bonded them together in their service was their love of one another and their self-commitment. In closing, I'm incredibly proud to be the champion of the Armed Forces Muslim Association, and to stand here with you, the serving British Armed Forces Muslim personnel, and with those from all other faiths and beliefs to share this act of national commemoration. Thank you.
We also pray for all members of the armed forces who are in danger this day, remembering family, friends, and all who pray for their safe return. And may they and we receive grace through God's love and mercy. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
People of faith carry with them many things. Some enhance their sense of spirituality, bring them closer to God. Some help them to have an identity. Some are sadly a burden. Many are common across faiths, but the one I want to single out is hope. Of course, each of us will have a different understanding of just what that hope is. Many, I'm sure, will be very similar. Here we remember 27 servicemen. Each of them had hopes. It is a very human thing to both have and to express our hope. Theirs, save for their hope in God, was cut short. They each made the ultimate sacrifice in a striving towards peace. So what is our response? It is rightly to remember each of them. But it is also right to accept the precious gift each has given us, and that is one of memory. The memory of them, their sacrifice, what they did, their lives, their story, these are so important. In remembering them, in naming them, their names are lifted, acknowledged, and indeed honoured. It can be through the recalling of such memories and through faith that healing, if it is needed, can be found. We of a later generation need to listen and continue to acknowledge these memories. And indeed, it is just what we are doing today. We are remembering. Hope is essential to each one of us. Memories are essential to each one of us. The 27 servicemen we remember here were no different. May we all truly recognise our hopes, acknowledge the gift of memories, and give thanks to God for all they bring into our lives.
Nav just told me to cut my speech down. I said I put my blood and sweat into this, there's no way I'm cutting it down.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, excellent.
What happened in the past connects us with today. And it is today that will make our future. A month from now, the 11th of November 2018, will mark the day 100 years ago when the guns fell silent at the end of the First World War. And so we are here today to remember the women and men that made the ultimate sacrifice. We remember them not through their death. We're not here to mourn, but we are here to remember and honor them through the values and principles they gave their lives for. What they set out to protect and defend. Though their blood was spilled through war and destruction, their sacrifices sowed seeds for peace and harmony. This reminds me of a verse in the Holy Quran where it says, "And had there not been God repelling some people by others, certainly there would have been pulled down cloisters, churches, synagogues, mosques, in which God's name is much remembered. And surely God will help them who helps his cause. Most surely God is strong and mighty." This garden reinforces for me the tremendous diversity and multiplicity of the women and men who sacrificed their lives so we could have a better and brighter future. The memory demonstrates the positive, collaborative and cooperative partnership that existed between nations and people of all cultures and religions in the world wars. They came together side by side, willing to pay the ultimate price for justice, safety and freedom. values that people of all faiths respect and believe in.
Thank you. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We remember.
When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today.